Hey, welcome back. In this one, we're going to get to those brackets for our ladder bars. We're going to cut them down, we're going to make them shorter, we're going to weld them back together, and I'm going to grind them up so that you can barely tell anything's been done to them. Or at least that's the plan. Let's see. Let's do it like this. Now, these jam nuts will do the job. Didn't really have a good way of clamping this down. I need to figure something out, but I think it's fairly stable right here. So I'm going to put my hand down here too close to the blade. Hope nothing happens, and let's see what this does. Well, I'd say that worked out all right. That's a pretty nice cut, I do say. The blade didn't wobble. It usually wobbles. Maybe it's just the thinner materials it doesn't like, because it cut smooth this time around. Hey, that's a nice cut. Was not expecting that. I guess more difficult than it has to be. Okay. See if that works any better. Good there. Same as it was. Actually, no, that's a little better. Okay. Let that sit there and hold in place until it cools. Since I put my tacks on the outside, it's going to make these things want to open up. So I'm going to leave that like that. Go ahead and pull that off. Get this out of here. That's why the aluminum's in there, to keep that waffle pattern from ending up in my brackets. And did I weld them together? No.
business.
So what I did though was I went ahead and took the two I'd already put together and I put it in here, and then I flipped this one in the opposite way, so instead of the weld being here where the other one is, I put it up here and clamped it to the piece below it in an effort to keep it from bending, because when I tack this side, it's going to want to bend towards the side, so it's going to want to come up at the end if I didn't have this clamped down. So that seems to work pretty good. Now I'm going to undo this, we'll tack up the other one, and then we'll get to welding. Alright, so here they are. I've got them welded up and I've got them basically ground flat again on the sides. Clamping them together the way I did during welding has kept them totally straight. They're not, like, you know, I'm not bending them into position. They did not get crooked except for just that little bit right there. We got them all bolted up, ready to go. We gotta run off these nubs, clean up this edge. Just make sure the rest are straight, and then we can get to cleaning these up for good. Blah, blah, blah. To the belt sander. I must say that's good enough. That should be good enough. It just needs to be flat, you know, and I need to be able to dress it clean, so that should be enough there. Alright, let me get rid of these nubs. Try this. I'll be right back. Alright, cut her off with a regular grinder just to make it easy. Now we're going to shake it up. That's probably good enough. All right, so here are our brackets up close. Now, first thing you'll notice is there's rust on them. That is because I touched them with my bare fingers. Finger oils do that. Also, I was sweating, so I might have had sweat on my fingers as well, or touched my skin somewhere. But really, finger oils will do that, so you're going to end up with rust everywhere you touch these things with your bare hands. So you want to try and use gloves as much as possible when you're working with metal. Bare metal, I mean. All right, so let's get to the brackets themselves. Let's take a quick peek. For starters, they came out straight. I'm really happy they came out straight. They came out exactly the same size and everything else. I couldn't be happier with that. I was very worried about these warping when I welded them back together, so super happy about that. What else? Let's look at something real quick. If you guys notice, especially this one looks awful, right? This is the worst one because I think it was probably the last one and I was getting kind of tired of it and my grinding discs were wearing out. I actually could go back in here and fix this a little. It's not quite ground down. But here's what happens. You can kind of see it on all these. Let's just use this one, either less distracting ugliness. All right. You'll notice there's a shiny spot here, and then it's kind of shinier down here. Well, this is the unmolested part where I didn't do any welding. And what's going on here is the reason why you can see my weld through here, even though I've ground it flat, is because we used a MIG welder. So MIG welding, I'm not going to get into the super details because A, I probably don't know them and I'll mess it all up. But here's just my experience and what I believe to be the reality of the situation. And that is, when you MIG weld, it hardens the metal. So what ends up happening is the metal along your weld is harder than the metal on either side of it. So when you come back in and you're trying to grind this all flat, you'll never get it flat. Because as your grind disc is going around, it's digging out the soft metal on either side of the weld and barely taking the weld down. So you end up with this hump. No matter how much you weld, there's still a little hump that you can almost feel there. So that's the downside of MIG welding. Anytime you're going to be actually doing metal work, this side actually came out halfway decent. But anytime you're going to be doing metal work after you weld, you want to use a TIG where it makes sense. and where you have it available, because the TIG welding doesn't harden the metal like that. So when you do grind it flat, it'll all be the same consistency. When you grind it, you don't end up with these high and low spots like that. So just a quick tip there. But as you can see, brackets came out nice. They look just fine, and well, that one could be better. But structurally, they're just fine, and I'm going to let it slide because these are going to end up getting powder coated anyway, or at least painted at some point. So I'm not too worried about those little tiny divots. Those will come out just with the primer alone, if nothing else. So I think we're good. So there it is. We got our brackets done. So now we can weld those onto our rear differential housing, and that'll get us that much closer to hanging a suspension in this thing. Of course, there's nothing to hang it to yet. We need frame rails. But luckily, if you've got a wise eye, you've already noticed, we have one frame rail. I built one so we could see what I had to do, because I didn't know how to do it. But we built it, we succeeded at it, so next time you and I are going to get together and we're going to build another one identical to this, because it has to be exactly the same as this or it will not work. So we'll be doing that soon. So if you want to see that, please subscribe. Like, comment, and share as well, but please subscribe, and that way you'll get notified on your homepage there when I put the video out. And you guys can come along for the ride as we figure out how to make another identical frame rail to this one. So I guess that's about it for this time. I do appreciate you guys stopping by. Oh, we've also got wheels and another part for the truck that's really cool. So I'll go over that in a separate video. So anyway, I guess that's it for this one. So I just want to say thanks so much for watching, guys. It feels really good to start putting the truck back together as opposed to just keep taking it apart and keep changing plans. So yeah, pretty stoked. Really excited to keep moving forward with this. So thanks a bunch for watching. Really appreciate it. Again, please subscribe if you haven't done so yet. And we will see you guys in the next one. Thanks a bunch and take care of yourselves.